How to start an impressive family art collection. First, find some talented local artists. Then inspire them with Crayola Happy Meal boxes from McDonald's. Every Crayola Happy Meal comes with your children's favorite McDonald's foods, plus an art kit with a McDonald's line stencil.
Hard to believe. I remember the first time my father ever brought me here. Of course, I was just a little weenie then, about yay high, yay wide. Kind of an R2-D2 kid. They were showing some movie. I don't even remember what it was. I wasn't watching anyway. I kept turning around and looking up here. I remember saying, Dad, look, there's a man up there. My dad kept saying, turn around, eat your tuna. But I couldn't turn around. I knew right then that someday I wanted to be the man in the glass booth. And now, what are they going to do with this booth? Automate it? What's going to happen to me? This is all I know how to do. This and shadow puppet theater. Well, if they think after all these years of loyal service that I'm going to be demoted to pushing a broom someplace, they're wrong.
I can't believe we're the only ones who realize that the Majestic is a landmark. I mean, there has to be other people who think like we do.
Look, I realize my mind is just running wild right now, but if you feel this strongly, maybe you should talk to Mr. Tuttle.
Tuttle's not going to listen to a kid. The only thing Tuttle listens to is reason.
Oh, then forget it. That's like talking to a wall.
I better go back down. Thanks for having me up here, Marlon. This is always a good place to come and just think.
Well, everybody needs some place to escape, and my hatch is always open. Hey, kid, don't let him make you crazy.
Apprentice beef carrier. Load and unload sides of beef, $8 per hour. Call if you love animals.
What's everybody doing?
Looking for jobs. Well, I can't stop working while they change this place. I have to save money for college.
Yeah, and I can't stop going out while they renovate this place. I've got dates.
Yes! Isn't that fantastic? That means I don't have a job after all. Well, listen, I better go. Everyone here is devastated.
Is that all anybody cares about? What you can do in the meantime until this place reopens? Don't you care anything about the Majestic?
Well, sure we do.
Okay, okay, maybe this place means more to me than it does to the rest of you because, well, because I guess someday I'd like to be in the movie business. And I know that sounds like a moonshot, and I don't even know what it is I want to be exactly, but, there it is. I said it. Now you know. Why, I'm not sure I ever told anybody that before.
You've told everybody that.
Oh, now I know who you are.
Okay, so I'm not a private person, but isn't there something we can do? I mean, places like the Majestic shouldn't be ripped apart just so people can make a few more bucks. I don't know why somebody can't tell Mr. Tuttle that.
Are you suggesting we tell him?
Well, if we can't talk to him, then Mr. Brown can.
Scott, I wouldn't go in there. You're on thin ice with Brown as it is.
Oh, where else is there to go? I mean, if we have a problem at home, we talk to our parents. If it's in school, you talk to our teachers. In the real world, you talk to Mr. Brown. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's hurting, too.
Lorraine, it's not the end of the world. Honey, I've told you before, things like this happen in life. A person has just got to learn to roll with the punches. Have you tried jiggling the handle? Well, look, why don't you lie down until I get home and I'll take care of it. No, I'm not brushing you off. It's just someone important has come into the office. I have to talk with them. I will, dear. Goodbye.
Get out.
This is important. No, I have
If
to
it's
talk...
about the Majestic,
Don't start.
Mr. Brown,
you're starting. If you finish, you're fired.
Excuse me, does that new Stallone picture end with him getting beat up?
No,
I didn't think so. We're missing a reel.
you're missing a reel.
Mr. Brown, just hear me out. Doesn't it mean anything to you that you're the manager of someplace special? Mr. Brown, you're the manager of the Majestic. When you walk down the street, people say, there goes Mr. Brown, the manager of the Majestic.
They do not.
I've heard them. And when I haven't heard them, I've seen it in their eyes.
Is that what that look means?
Mr. Brown, when people come to the Majestic, they come here for a lot of reasons. And it's not just to see a movie, it's because of what this place represents. This place was built during the Depression, when people weren't standing in bread lines. They were standing in movie lines right here, waiting to go in and see Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers in Top Hat. I mean, it wasn't just a business thing. It served a real purpose. If Tuttle had owned this place back in the 1950s, he'd have turned it into a drive-in. But some silly romantic decided to keep it the way that it was. And I'll bet that you're one of the people who was glad they did. Oh, didn't you ever come here when you were a kid, Mr. Brown?
Well, sure I came here. My first date with Lorraine was here. I remember we sat up in the balcony and watched something or other.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have sat up in that balcony. How do you think they're going to feel if this place is suddenly ripped apart? Sorry, I'm not trying to fight against progress, but it just seems to me that there ought to be room for places like the Majestic. And I can't believe that if someone were to talk to Mr. Tuttle, face to face, one-on-one, that they couldn't make him see that. Marlon, what are you doing?
I don't know. What was I doing?
Mr. Brown, what do you think? Will you go see Mr. Tuttle?
Well, you don't see Mr. Tuttle. I've worked for the man for 12 years. I've only actually seen him once. Luckily, he didn't see me.
But I suppose I can call him.
Can I stay and listen?
Don't you have a movie to run?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Brown, this is a fantastic thing you're doing. I am feeling such respect for you right now.
Thanks. Mr. Tuttle, there's a crazed usher who wants to talk to you.
Good night.
Night. Scott's been in there an hour. I wonder what's taking him so long.
I figure Scott convinced Brown to call Tuttle. Brown did. Tuttle fired him. Brown killed Scott. And now he's cutting his body up into little pieces and trying to stuff them in the safe.
That would explain the time.
Hey, everybody, guess what?
You're alive!
What?
Nothing. What is it?
I think we saved the Majestic.
You're kidding!
All right, way to go, Mr. Brown!
Actually, Kreisman here did most of the talking.
See, I realized right away I wasn't talking to a man like Mr. Brown. I was talking to a high-powered executive. I meant that in the derogatory sense.
That's how I took it.
Yeah, anyway, this guy didn't want to hear about the Depression. All he wanted to hear was what saving the Majestic could do for him and why I was on the phone and not Mr. Brown. That's when Mr. Brown pretended to be choking on a hairball. So I told him about all the great PR he could get for saving a landmark. He liked that.
PR.
No, landmark. See, it reminded Mr. Tuttle of the tax break you can get for preserving a place like this.
And that convinced him?
Well, at least he agreed to think about it.
Oh, Scott, that's fantastic.
Way to go, man!
Let me get this straight. Does this mean I have to keep working?
Indeed you do, and you have Kreisman here to thank for it.
Well, Scott, thank you very much.
What's the matter?
When I found out this place was going to be closed for a while, I decided to have you over for dinner Saturday night to celebrate. But I guess you've ruined all that. As far as I'm concerned, our date is off.
All right, fine. If that's the way you feel about it, I thought it might be fun working together and going out together, but if you can't admire what I did, that is fine by me. Because somewhere in this world, Lynn Holly, there is a girl who does admire it. And when I find her, I just hope she looks like you.
Don't go away. The popcorn kid will be right back.
You know when things really heat up? When we're inside the opponent's 30-yard line. That's when things get exciting, get hot. That's when you really start sweating. But you won't find me showering with the deodorant soap. I made a clean break with Ivory. Look, Ivory's good, honest soap. So
You about finished?
Just about.
Look, Kreisman, if I haven't said so already, I was impressed with how you handled yourself this evening with Mr. Tuttle. That's well, probably a surprise coming from me. I'm not a guy who's easy on kids. The fact is, my wife and I don't have any kids of our own. No reason Just never wanted them. I never even wanted to work with them. It's because most of the time you just don't use your heads. But when I see a kid stand up for what he believes in, like you did tonight, well, it makes me think that maybe I've been wrong.
Thanks, Mr. Brown.
You should take care of
Oh, again.
Next on the Popcorn Kid.
Honey, I have got fabulous news. Guess who's just had her application accepted for Miss Kansas City Dream Queen?
You're kidding! They accepted me! So, Lynn Holly, what are you going to do for talent?
Let's take the obvious things. You know, you're young, you're blonde, you have a faultless complexion. God, what do these people want?
Problem?
She has no talent.
Coming up, will Dick leave the comforts of home for a home on the range? He gets a new view of the Old West on Newhart next.